Welcome. Good morning and welcome to our restorative practice. My name is Victoria Raven Hyndman. We'll go into today's practice of connecting and activating our immunity through connection with our heart. So let's first come sitting. If you have a bolster, a long bolster, that you can come sitting on the bolster, taking one leg over the other so you can have over the bolster and wrapping the blanket around the lower back and the lower belly. If you don't have a bolster, then you could just use some pillows. So you'll be needing about 1 or 2 blankets and a few pillows, maybe some blocks, so that we can really create a nice, comfortable nest here. Make sure that you're sitting high enough. So if you feel any discomfort in your knees, or if you find that your feet are coming out, like this, that their feet are coming out, that's too much pressure on your knees. So then come sitting up and come up higher, take another pillow so that you can really sit comfortable. It also helps to take the thumbs to pull the calves out. And I like to have a very stable pillow behind me at the sacrum so that there's this very stable support. You could also do this against the wall to give yourself more support. So as we're going to connect with our heart, which is also the source, this space of the chest and the heart space is also the source of our immunity. It's also where, in Ayurvedic perspective, where our ojas lives, in the right chamber of our heart. Our ojas is like our super immunity. So let's first settle in. Let's take our hands in this deer mudra, tattva mudra, thumbs touching middle fingers and ring fingers. And then so your hands look like a little deer head. And then we rest the hands onto the thighs, either the palms facing down or facing up. So if you're feeling a bit ungrounded today, then have the palms facing down. If you're feeling a bit sleepy, then have the palms facing up. And as we close the eyes, let's take an inhale, taking the shoulders up to the ears, inhaling, and a slow exhale to the mouth, emptying the channel of the mind, dropping the shoulders away from the ears as we close the eyes and settle in, where we can hit the pause button from the outside world to have this pratyahara, this withdrawing of our senses, like a flower that's closing and turning all its attention inwards into that space where there is always peace, where there is always light, where there is always bliss. When we completely turn inwards to see that this beautiful space of peace and light is always deep, deep within. And that gives us that space of coming back home to ourselves, taking this beautiful refuge of coming back home to our heart space, coming back home to our true self, the one that is not activated by the senses, the one that is not affected due to past traumas, but that space beyond traumas, the space beyond the stories that we feel has shaped who we think we are. So feeling ourselves dropping nice and heavy into the seat, so feeling that the feet and the lower legs and the knees are sinking into the earth, that our thigh bones are heavy and sinking down into the earth, that our 2 sitting bones and our tailbone, these 3 pillars, are sinking equally downwards into the earth. And that we also lean a little bit back with our front body. We very, very slowly sink and lean back into the back body. Yet as we lean back, we don't become this like a bag of potatoes that's just sinking. There is the sinking back, and at the same time, we have a nice long spine. So as we first sink back into our seat, And then feel, let's first take our inner eye all the way down to the space between those two sitting bones and the tailbone. So the space of the perineum. So it's also the space between the anus and the vagina. And feel that from the perineum, that you're totally opening there. If you're pregnant, then don't go into the feeling of dropping down. Then just stay at your uterus area, at that space to hold. For those of us who are not pregnant, then feel that you're opening and dropping from your perineum to drop your energetic root all the way down into the deep layers of Mother Earth, into the center of the earth. And this beautiful root, this channel is wide open, and we start to receive this beautiful amrita, the beautiful nectar, the nectar of life force that is constantly nourishing us, that root that is receiving this beautiful liquid light and seeing it with our inner eye like a geyser that of all this beautiful fluidity, this liquid light that is rising out of Mother Earth in slow motion up our root, up into the pelvic girdle, filling the space of the space between the hips, the space between the pubic bone and the sacrum. So filling that space completely with beautiful liquid light. And it continues to rise up the spine, nourishing, lubricating, filling any dry spaces along the spine. And it reaches up and it goes through the heart space, and see that through the heart space, it then overflows and spills out into all the channels of our inner landscape. Like this fountain that is just unendingly connected, unendingly spilling over. So see this beautiful liquid light that is pouring into all your veins, all the arteries, all the tiny channels and the bigger channels known as the shrotas or the shrotamsi in Ayurveda. This whole beautiful irrigation system within, overflowing from the heart, beautiful liquid light, nourishing and lubricated all our channels. And that's through that space, as it continues to overflow, it also continues to rise up through the channel of the throat, up through the third eye space, and out through the crown to yet have another spilling over and out, connecting us with beautiful universal consciousness. So there is this beautiful, like this infinity of unending being nourished, receiving and giving, both receiving from the earth and connecting with the heavens, and this unending circulation of life force, of prana, that is unendingly a beautiful sacred firework display within. Just beautiful flow of prana. So feeling how our heart is totally illuminated and full and rich and content with this unending content, that we are deeply nourished from within, not from the outside, but from deep, deep, deep within, that there isn't some black hole that needs to be filled, but a beautiful, deep, deep nourishment from within. And that overspilling heart space, that unending flow of energy, prana, as it is movement is vibration. And vibration also is sound, as sound travels through the ethers, and sound is movement. And the sound of that prana is the Om, the unending, no beginning, no end, unending vibration of life. So let's take the palms in front of the heart space. So we can open with 3 Oms, but listen to the sound behind the sound behind your vocal cords, the sound behind the wind of your breath that is pushing the sound out from the heart through the channel of the throat, out of the mouth. Taking a slow inhale into the root of the heart. From here, gently opening the eyes. Let's take our right hand into the Deer Mudra, and we're going to take our hand to the center of the chest, right at the sternum. And we give a few taps here, just to wake up our immunity. Just some gentle, like you're knocking at the door, a few taps, and this is waking up one of these main glands of our immunity. And immunity is also the space of I amness, a space of I am individual, which takes courage, right? Courage comes from the heart, love comes from the heart. Kind of like this tapping here, it's kind of like when monkeys or apes do this, like, oh, right? It's like activating immunity, which is a sense of I amness. When there's any kind of autoimmune disorder, it's often connected to very deep stuff of a lack of self-awareness, a lack of knowing thyself on a very deep cellular level. So feel that you're just waking up your space of I amness. And then releasing, just feeling here the sensation, the waking up at the chest area. Then we're going to do a little bit more movements to wake up Vyana Vayu, which is one of the winds for this circulation. Taking right hand on the heart, left hand on top of the right hand. And keep the tip of the tongue just behind the two top front teeth here. And on an inhale, we open our arms like huge wings. We take our head a little bit back, keeping the mouth closed, opening the chest. On the exhale, we slowly, slowly bring it back to the heart, bowing the head and creating gentle whispering sound like Ujjayi breath at the root of the throat. On the inhale, we open, 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 open the wings, open the heart. Feel how your arms and fingertips are an extension of your heart. The exhale, we slowly, slowly, slowly bring it back. Holding here for a moment. The inhale, we open our wings, our arms, opening the heart, opening the chest. Holding here, a relaxed effort, holding the breath for the energy, the prana to build at the heart space. Exhale, slowly, slowly bringing it back to the heart, bowing, holding at the bottom of the exhale. Again, an inhale, opening individual heart space, opening up to universal space. Having the courage to have this wide open heart. Exhaling, bringing it back home, universal heart space, coming back into individual heart space where it came from. And one more, inhaling, opening. Holding. And exhaling, bringing it back home. And then sitting nice and tall, feeling your heart space, your chest area. That might be feeling a little bit more light, a little bit more fresh and vibrant. And then we'll go into working with the sound, the mantra. So mantra meaning sound, bija mantra meaning a seed sound. So we'll work with the seed sound for the heart, which is dhum. D-H-U-M. D as in dog, D. But it's kind of a mix between a D and a T. So it's like a tum, a slight rolling D or rolling T. So you could spell it T-H-A-M or D-H-A-M or D-H-U-M, so dham. Left hand goes in Jnana Mudra, left thumb and index finger touching, resting it onto the left thigh. Right hand into the Deer Mudra. And for 5 minutes, we do Om Dham Namaha. And supporting that space of it being like a fountain, that the heart is vibrant, becoming even more awake and overflowing with this beautiful, radiant, liquid light. There we go. Om Dham Namaha. Om Dham Namaha. Keep lifting the heart. Om Dham Namaha. 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 One more minute. Om Dham Namaha. 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 namaha, Om Tham 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 namaha. Four more. Om Tham namaha, Om Tham namaha, Om Tham namaha. Last one. Om Tham namaha. Taking both your hands in the Deer Mudra on your thighs, keeping the eyes closed, stay with your awareness at the chest, at the heart, and feel any sigh of relief, any sigh of release. This beautiful illuminated heart space that is overflowing with beautiful liquid light, illuminating all the channels of the physical body, and therefore also those then merge into the 72,000 nadis, all the energetic channels, the light body illuminated. The whole mental body illuminated and radiant. Any dark spaces have been released. All this beautiful light shining from deep within. You might have a yawn or a sneeze or a deep sigh that comes. Please let that come through so that those winds can be the vehicle of releasing anything that was stuck. And from here, and slowly opening the eyes. Let's just release our legs coming forward and taking the hands in front of us as we then come onto the hands and knees, and we take the right leg back, pressing out through the right heel to open up the back of that right knee, opening it up to freshness. Then taking right knee down, taking that left leg back, pressing out through the left heel, opening up the back of that left knee. And then to support this heart space that we've just opened up, you might be feeling this zinginess at the chest, which is great. So let's support that. Taking a bolster behind you so that you can come lying down, and you could have the pillow behind the bolster as we're going to come lying back and taking our arms over the bolster. And you could either drop the head back if that's comfortable for the neck, or take a pillow underneath to support. So you take the arms, the elbows wide, feeling that you've got that bolster right behind the heart space, so you can rest here, supporting for the chest to open some more. If it's more comfortable to bend the knees for your back, you could also do that. Bending the knees with the feet flat and just letting the knees sink a bit into each other. And otherwise dropping down, taking a nice inhale into the heart, that vibrant, awake, expansive heart. And a nice sigh, feeling also, as you have the elbows wide, that there's all this beautiful space for the liquid lights to flow through the channels, activating the lymphatic system, which is the water system of the body. And the water system of the body is also connected to love, as love is fluidity. So when our body is juicy, when we have all the fluids gliding through our channels, then there is much more of this space of love that can flow, compassion, empathy, that there is a beautiful freshness of our love. So not a sticky attachment, but just freedom. That space as love is freedom and freedom is love. Just beautiful space of this space, both love within and to be able to share that with others. As we're all in this together, so the more we can stay with love, the more we can be part of the beautiful awakening of all of humanity. If we just all do our own homework, and then we can also support others lovingly to remind them that they too are the love and the joy and the light. Nobody is excluded. Taking a few more breaths here. A few more moments of supporting that space of the chest to be opening. And just notice, stay present at your heart space. And if you notice any kind of fear coming up to have your heart so open and exposed, that's beautiful to just stay with it so that you can feel the support behind your back body for the heart to be supported to open. Often when we tend to live more in a fearful space of consciousness, our heart tends to, or our chest tends to be a bit more sunken. So give yourself space to shine from the heart. Taking one more minute here, making sure that you're comfortable. And then from here, and bending the knees and slowly rolling onto the right side. Just taking a moment here on the right side. And then using your left hand to support you to come up to sitting. Just coming up and closing your eyes for a moment to feel the after effect here. Perhaps feeling more of this beautiful space in your upper back and your chest area, that there's this whole new sense of lightness and space around the heart space. Amazing how different we can feel being us. And even after doing one mantra or a posture, how the qualities within change, the energies shift in their flow. So to support the heart some more, let's take the pillow in front of us and the bolster on top to create this support. So what you could also do is come up to a wall to take your legs up against the wall. We're going to take our legs up onto the bolster, but if you have a couch or a chair, you could place that underneath the legs, under the knees, or come up to a wall and take your legs all the way up the wall. So here we come sitting close to the bolster with the buttocks, and we come back taking the legs onto the bolster, having your blanket so you stay nice and comfortable and warm. You could cross one ankle over the other so you feel that your legs aren't going to slip away from each other off the bolster. And it's nice to tuck yourself in at the waistline with the blanket. And then taking the arms out again to shoulder height, maybe wider if that's comfortable for the shoulders. Giving yourself a sigh. So like I mentioned, you could also take your legs up against the wall. This is a very nice one to do before you go to bed for about 20 minutes, where you would then take your bum on the pillow of your bed and take your legs up against the wall on your bed if your bed is standing up against the wall. And here supporting the circulation of both the blood and the plasma. So the fluidity and also our blood circulation, known in Ayurveda as rasa and rakta. Rasa is the plasma, the fluidity, the clear fluidity, the first step of nourishment, of nutrition in our physical body. And the rakta is the red blood cells. So they naturally go together, carrying nourishment into the body. And the heart doesn't need to pump so hard right now in this position to pump the blood back up from the feet. So we're giving the heart a rest here. So this posture also helps with sinking at the heart, with resting, so therefore also helping with our sleep, that we can settle down. You could use an eye pillow on the eyes. You could also cover the eyes with a piece of fabric. Just make sure to not cover the whole face, because that will feel a bit not so nice after a while, just covering the eyes. And in this beautiful space of rest, going into that space of deep reflection, and just quietly looking into the heart space of where might there still be some old traumas, some old pains that might still be causing some shadow in your present life, where we feel we need to protect or defend ourselves. So just through quiet introspection, quiet witnessing from a beautiful, calm, pure place of observation. And looking again at who would we be without any of our traumas? Seeing how so much of our behavior and our characteristics that don't really serve us are often caused by deep-seated traumas that we haven't seen yet, that we haven't acknowledged. Still resting here in that beautiful space of stillness. Just letting yourself sink deep. So in certain positions, the longer we stay there, it's like when you go dive into an ocean as a diver in your diving gear, you just slowly, slowly sink through different layers, different levels, different depths of the ocean into deeper, deeper stillness. So some of these positions, like the one we're in now, it's good to stay here a little longer so you can really start unwinding the nervous system to slowly sink a little bit deeper and deeper into beautiful deep rest. As from a rested, calm mind is where we can see clearly and make clear and stable decisions in our life, have deeper insights. Still resting here. If your legs are up against the wall, make sure that you're not overstretching your legs. Allow the knees to be a little bit bent, very soft, so they don't overextend. You might find that you even drift off into a sleep, that you might all of a sudden wake yourself up with a snore thinking you were totally awake. And staying another minute here to allow for the beautiful benefits of this posture to do its stance. And from here, slowly, slowly bending the knees, letting the feet rest on the bolster, the knees into each other. If your legs are up against the wall, just taking the knees bent. And then slowly rolling onto the right side, taking a round of breath here. So the reason why we come rolling to the right side is so that the blood doesn't all get rushed to the heart. And then we take left hand to support us, to slowly come up to sitting. Taking a moment here to feel the after effect, to feel this beautiful, all these happy fluid channels of the body. Everything is flowing like beautiful rivers in a beautiful, perfectly harmonized irrigation system. Harmonized, harmonized. That the hormones are harmonized as they are traveling through those channels. The water's being very connected to our hormones. And from here, you could have your setup as it is. I'm just going to turn mine around so that you can see me better. Taking bolster behind me, we're going to go into our resting goddess to again support opening both the heart and the channels of the groin area. So we come sitting right up with the base of the bolster up against the sacrum. We cross one ankle over the other comfortably. We take blocks underneath the knees or underneath the thighs. Taking hands behind us, so we're right up against the bolster. So there's no space there. That way you'll be completely supported. And we make our way back, adjusting the blocks where we need to so that we can completely let go at the groin area and the inner thighs. And then again, taking arms out, reaching over, grabbing hold of the opposite elbows. So the side body can open. You might have a beautiful big lion yawn. And then let's take the arms over to the left so we can open up the right side of the torso. Then we glide elbows to the right to open up the left side of the torso. And coming back through, resting the arms onto the bolster if that's comfortable for your shoulders. Maybe after a few minutes, it's not so comfortable, so then you could take your arms back down, nice and wide, comfortably though, to again feel that beautiful support behind your heart space. Check if you want to take that eye pillow or fabric onto the eyes. And dropping with the front body into this back body, really dropping heavy and back. So the front body is nice and light and expansive. And feel as you're resting in this beautiful resting goddess position, like a goddess that is taking a break, taking a pause from activity to take a time out, to take time in, and to notice what it feels like to let go of effort right now, to let go of needing to participate in any action right now. And then from here, just continue lying as you are, please. Let's just unhook the ankles and taking the feet as wide as the hips, the big toes in, letting the knees just sink into each other to release the lower back here. And then coming to the right side onto the right elbow to support us to come up to sitting. And from here, let's take the bolster underneath the knees. And having the pillow just off to the side, coming to lie down onto the back. And then let's take the right knee into the chest. Just let interlacing fingers on the right knee or the right shin. If there's a baby in the belly, then you take the right knee more out to the right side. It's also nice to use your pillow, take it underneath the right elbow so that your right elbow has some support. And feel with every exhale that you're totally dropping and softening and releasing from your sacrum, that triangular bone above the tailbone. Now with every exhale, you could also exhale out of the mouth. With every exhale, you soften, you drop from the sacrum into the earth. Now either stay here. If this feels wonderful and you just want to stay here, then you should stay here. That's the beauty when we start getting more into our seat. Just follow your own teaching, your own teacher, your heart, telling you what feels comfortable, what not. So either stay here, or you could reach or start dropping the right knee out to the right, supporting that right knee to open up, or you could grab onto the outside of the right foot with your right hand and opening up there. So feel what feels comfortable. Every one of us, a different body. Every one of us, our body has had a different journey so far. So certain postures will feel more comfortable in a certain way for you. And that's why in the Yoga Sutras they speak about that Yoga asanam sthiraham sukham, meaning every yoga position, asana meaning posture or position. Every position or posture we take, we should find comfort and joy. So sukham, feeling joyful and at peace and comfortable. And also, and sthiraham, being stability, which is also feeling safe. So feeling safe, feeling comfortable, which is any position that doesn't make you make an expression on your face that you're miserable or scared or unhappy or suffering. So where you can maintain a calm breath and a neutral, peaceful face. It's also a beautiful experiment to play with invoking a smile on your face. You'll notice that instantly your mind will feel so much lighter. You might have a judge saying, "Oh, that feels so dumb to do. I'm so miserable. Let me stay in my sadness." But have the courage to say yes to whatever sadness is there, but also yes to unending peace within, joy. It will help to shorten the time of suffering. Then let's take the leg back up if it was out. Then slowly, slowly, taking right leg down onto the bolster, feeling the beautiful rinsing action you might notice right now in your right leg. Beautiful fluidity, freshness, juiciness. And then taking your pillow to the left side to take the other side. We take the left knee in, interlacing fingers on top of the left knee or left shin, guiding a few exhalations from the sacrum down into the earth, softening there, releasing heavy. And then either staying here or slowly dropping the left knee out, supporting yourself that you feel comfortable, maybe reaching down with the left hand to the outside of the left foot and slowly extending out through that left leg, opening up. So all those yawns and sighs and sneezes, they're all wonderful. It helps to, it's like, it's like, let's see how to compare it. It's like a piece of dough or a piece of clay, which is what this physical body is. It's like when we go with a dough pin, like a deegroller, over the clay or over the dough. It helps to squeeze out, smooth out any air bubbles, any excess stuck air. So as we're wringing ourselves out in these positions, it's like we're being massaged from within. And those sighs and sneezes and yawns and stuff, it's like pockets of air, that trapped air that is being released out of the mouth, so that there can be, again, fluid connection, as air pockets can be places of where things stagnate. So it's like this release of excess wind, excess space, that this, oh, there you go, that the nervous system is nice and juicy. And then from here, let's take the left leg back in and slowly, slowly dropping it out and down and feeling here. So beautiful, this practice of beautiful rest. Then let's go into our beautiful rest of taking a shavasana, like a beautiful queen taking her beauty sleep, her deep rest. So you could either feel out which feels better for you today. You could take your left hand on your heart space and your right hand on the uterus space, of connecting these beautiful spaces of deep divine wisdom, both the heart and the uterus being these beautiful spaces that hold all of this divine wisdom, universal wisdom. You could also, if you want to focus more on the uterus space, reproductive space, then you could create this yoni mudra of this triangle with your hands. So I'm showing it on the screen. The two thumbs touching each other, index fingers touching each other. The other fingers are together side by side without any space between. And you place that triangle between the pubic bone and below the navel. So that will help to concentrate the energy at the uterus. But if you feel like the heart and uterus connection with your hands feels good, then going into a lovely divine rest. So making any adjustments, and once you have found your comfortable seat or your comfortable resting place, then staying in your Shavasana. Taking a breath into your uterus, into the heart space, and giving yourself a nice sigh. Seeing how a sigh is also a hum. When the sigh ends and we close our mouth, naturally we are humming all the time. Every exhale is a hum. A humming as in the humming vibration of life, and the hum as in this so hum, the natural sound that our body makes on very, very quiet level. So just witnessing how there is the soundless sound of so on your inhale and hum on your exhale. And the more we connect with this hum on every exhale, that it is a miniature death. Every exhale is a beautiful, small death, a letting go. So in your Shavasana, which is corpse pose, we can practice dying, that we can practice dying gracefully, dropping the body, knowing that right now we are simply practicing. And the more we go into that space, the more we can really live from our heart with courage, with grace, with joy, with love. So giving yourself a nice gentle scan to check in that you are totally shedding and releasing every body part. So releasing through the toes, softening at the ankles, softening at the knees, softening at the thighs, softening, releasing at the groin, softening at the reproductive system, softening the lower belly, softening through the fingertips, through the wrists, at the elbows, at the shoulders, softening. And the heart is beautifully vibrant, radiant. That's such deep inner peace, such deep radiance. Like your heart is just smiling from ear to ear. Like this huge smile from your ear, left ear through your heart to your right ear, this huge smile. The back of the neck long, throat soft, root of the tongue soft and heavy, mouth soft, lip soft, teeth soft, jaw soft, inner ears soft, face soft. Eyeball slowly turning inwards and downwards, and soft and heavy, sinking fresh, deep into the sockets. Nothing to see in the outside world, just going deep within. The scalp soft, and the skull gracefully sinking into the back of the head. And from such beautiful, blissful peace of complete surrender, of complete realization of the oneness that we are, the oneness that we're a part of, like a beautiful thread, part of this massive, beautiful, colorful tapestry of life. A beautiful expression in this unique body that is such a temporary vehicle, a beautiful vehicle, but temporary. Giving yourself another moment of complete release, complete liberation. And from that beautiful space of lightness, with the gratitude that we get to experience another day in this earth plane, another day in this earthly vehicle, this body, just slowly starting to feel this body, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, waking up your face, not at all taking it for granted, not at all taking it for granted that we have a body, that we're here. But it's the celebration that we have a body, that we are here. Giving yourself a nice, beautiful, refreshing morning stretch to awaken yourself into this space. Coming to roll onto the right side, into your embryo position. The knees bent, the head resting on the right arm, keeping eyes closed again. A beautiful transition from our shava, our corpse, into the embryo of everyday rebirthing. We are not our traumas, we are not our past, but we will be ruled by it if we don't set ourselves free from the past, that it cannot affect our present. Using left hand to come up to sitting. Closing the eyes once we find a comfortable seat. And witnessing the beautiful, fresh, radiant space at the heart. Seeing that every one of us having this beautiful, noble birthright to awaken to that which we are, that which we always have been, that which we will continue to be, whether we see it or not. At some point, the realization, which only we can have, nobody can have it for us, nobody can do it for us. But the more and the more we let go of anything that brings us fear, misery, judgment, criticism, greediness, jealousy, all these things that block our joy, our awakening. So we can be a jiva mukti, every one of us having that birthright to be a jivan mukti, meaning one who is in a body, who has a body, but has realized the self that we are. Mukti coming from moksha, of liberation. Jivan meaning one who is in a body, a human, but that we can be an awakened, realized spirit while having this body. Taking the palms in front of the heart space so we can seal this and go into our day from this whole new, but rather it has always been here, but our perspective that is fresh, where we have dropped blinders from the heart, that we can see with open heart, therefore open mind. Sealing this with 3 Oms, 3 Shantis, to take this with us into the rest of our day, to experience the day perhaps in a slightly different flavor. Inhaling into the heart space. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti meaning peace. Realizing, remembering again and again that that's really our true essence. So thank you for joining. If you have any comments, any questions, you could write them in the bar down below. You could also continue sitting for a little bit longer right now, turning this off. And you could, if you want to send requests or comments or questions, you could send it later to info@thelightyoga.nl and maybe have another sit for a bit more. And thank you for taking the time, the effort, the space for yourself to do this for yourself, as this is at times more nourishing and more necessary than having our breakfast or having whatever else that we tend to be attached to, thinking we need to do it and have it. So beautiful you're doing this effort for yourself. So lots of love. Namaste. See you next time.